Hey Lightworkers, welcome to this video. This video is gonna be about grid work, activations, and sharing. At a certain moment I will explain what grid work is, like what grid is. And for you that maybe some of this stuff is gonna be like go over your head, I'm gonna be sharing a lot of different stuff in this channel. There's gonna be law of attraction tips, there's gonna be just like reflections, there's gonna be stories of awakening and ascensions and DNA activations, but there's also gonna be recipes and detox tips and day-to-day tips and working online. So there's gonna be all kinds of nice stuff that I like and I'm here to share. I hope you enjoy, and let's start the video. And a lot of times you question like, why am I sharing this? Like, who cares, right? And you end up not sharing, and you're gonna see and through what I'm sharing how important that is, because it ends up things happen in other levels. Like it ends up planting a seed, starting an activation, or sending out a code for an activation that you receive later. You're gonna make a connection later, you're gonna remember something later. So it's so important. And that's why I'm here sharing this latest experiences of what happened right before this whole thing changed, like that we got this whole new situation happening. And I think, or I know that this happened for a lot of light workers, that we ended up like through synchronicities, events happened in perfect timing, that we got in groups and we activated each other, and we activated the earth, and we've received activations, and we exchange things. So we create this beam of light exactly in the right time before this whole thing started. So the end of last year started with an astrological reading that like triggered a lot for what's about to happen, what I'm about to share. And it was a message like, you will be called to go places, and when you are called, go. So I got this in the back of my head strong. Okay, I'm wondering where I'm going. January, the eclipse in January, I'm sure it was strong for you too. Like for me it was a big shift, and I shared that on Instagram about how for me it was a big shift, a big call, like really more intense than what I was getting before, about cleaning the channel, like cleaning your body, detoxing and making space and removing some things, and what I was choosing to eat. And I'm gonna share some stuff here too, like some nice recipes and tips about that if you like. I hope you like, because I'm gonna share it. So there was this big shift together with other shifts. January, I noticed that I was missing the sun here. I'm here in Holland. I'm Brazilian, so I go back and forth between Brazil and Holland. And in January, there was very little sun. So it came February, I was like, oh, shall I go to Brazil? Shall I not go? Shall I go? Shall I not go? And then this day was really gray and cold, and I was, okay, I have to go. And by then I only had a week to stay there. So I really just went for this week for a recharge. One of the last days there, I went in deep meditation. It was really intense. So after it, I had this thought, this guidance, to reach out to this woman in Brazil called Chris, and she does like readings for me, and she does a lot of beautiful energy work, and ask her if we could meet, if I could have a session with her. Like I really didn't plan to do that. And she started laughing because she was like receiving. Later she explained why she was laughing so much, because she was traveling, she was preparing to travel the next day. So she was gonna have to, if she wanted to have a session, it would have to be at 6 a.m. And she was like laughing, like who would suggest such a thing? But she was receiving this strong guidance, like say it, because she's gonna come. So she said it like, okay, haha, I have 6 a.m. if you wanna come. So I went, and this was like very important reading, because we both shared this vision of how the grid work that was being called to go participate in, and I'll tell you a bit more about, would activate my body. So it would, like, the moment you do the grid work on in the earth, that you focus on the earth, it activates in your body, so it becomes like you get a grid work happening in your body, and that activates and brings, spreads to the collective. So imagine this vision, like it's like in many levels: earth, body, collective, universe, right? So it's a very nice vision. I meant to explain this in the beginning, but about grid work, like crystal grids, for example, what it is, and it's the connection of energetic connection of things. And we do that with crystals. We place crystals in a way, like intuitively you feel where you want to place them, and they are being connected with each other, so their power is being intensified, and you're creating this string of, or this beam of energy between each piece, and these connections become one big grid, one big energetic field. So because of this vision, I started noticing, because then after that I had this gathering in Portugal with all light workers, and like I had to time it perfectly because I was called, because I had to answer if I was gonna be called, and I was called to go to these two gatherings, and they were like very close to each other. I had to cut down some days to one to be able to participate on the other, and there was one in Portugal, and then I had one day to come home and prepare, and then go to the one in Scotland. And through these meetings, I started noticing that what was happening, that was like all these things were happening, like all this sharing was creating, like was activating on each other, even if you're sharing like silly things, feelings and things from your childhood, and all these things that were like so important, and was creating all these grids and these energetic fields, and we were receiving together, like through meditations or just being outside, or just through this being together, receiving a lot. And I noticed also that most people in these groups, like I participated in other gatherings like this, and that often people say that they don't really like the place where they have to go back to, like their homes where they're living. They wish they were living in somewhere much more high vibe. And how, to me, it feels like, okay, it's important for them to be there. It's like they are the crystals of the area, and then how we all little crystals, we come together, and we, not really little crystals, big powerful crystals, we come together and we expand this energy, and we activate each other, and we activate together, and then we spread, creating the grid again, but then now more energized. And how this really had to happen before all these things start changing, and we are holding the light. And another thing that was important that happened is the first night in Portugal, I had this dream, and for me it feels like it was a very important message for now. And it was like this: some people that had like some bad energy in them, like I'm gonna call it bad, but like not high vibe energy, I don't know how to let's say, like in simple terms, right? It was bad energy in people was coming out. So if you had them, it will be very obvious, and it will come out, and you would have this demon face, and like with the sharp teeth, and like really scary demon face. And we would, like as light workers, we were watching this and just waiting, and this kept happening with people, boom boom, becoming demons. And we knew that our job was to stay in place and wait for it to be over. And I remember when it was over, if I had this feeling, okay, we have to hide now because they are full of demons outside, right? But then I understood that the demons would be obvious, be seen, and then they would disappear. So we created a new world, a world where there are no demons. So that's why we have to wait, holding the light, for this transformation to happen, and for the demons to disappear. So for me, it feels like it's a big metaphor, it's a big helpful image to hold for this moment, right? For what's happening now. There's a big cleanup happening. I want to come back to the message. As you've seen here, my point in this sharing is to create this image, for you to see how the sharing is creating this power line, this activation, this beam of light, and how more and more, like if you share more and more, you create more lines, and this all intensifies, and we create more and more bright light just by sharing. So, and there is a call for us just to stand up, to stop second guessing, because this happens a lot, because there is also this cleanup that we have to do about the persecution times, like when you would say things like that, or you share a thought that's a bit more out there, you will be attacked for it. And of course today you will often be criticized for it, but how important it is, that's the call. Let's create more of those lines, let's share more, like all the simple things. Anything that you feel like, okay, I would, that you would go to a friend to text and share, like do however you feel like. You stop second guessing it, trust it, and put it out there. Often you would not know why, and you would not you don't understand how this would really serve, but then keep in mind that little stream of light, how you're creating this grid more and more, like ping ping ping. Even if you cannot see it, it is happening. So let's trust that. I don't know in which order I'm gonna post this video, because I have others, even old ones, that I'm planning to put it out there anyways. And I will do what I'm saying. I will stop second guessing, and we're just gonna share. But I normally share in Portuguese, and so this is a new thing for me to do in English. Welcome here. So share with me in the comments, what are your experiences like. Did you have some kind of dream about this thing? Were you in a gathering too? And do you want to know more about any of the things that I'm sharing, or you have any questions, anything, just put it here. Let's keep this conversation going. Till next time.